What's up guys, welcome back to Software Solutions, and today we're talking about Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3 and its latest updates and its latest patch notes. Now, yes ladies and gentlemen, there's a lot of people out there that is struggling with this game right now at this very moment, and they don't know what upscalings to be using, they don't know what settings to be using. Today I'm going to show you the best settings you can use for any type of machine that you are running. It doesn't matter if you're a low-end user, a medium-end user, to a high-end user, to a NASA fucking machine that can launch nuclear missiles. It really doesn't matter. I'm here to help out the entire community as best I can. All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's jump straight into this. All right, so the first thing I highly recommend you guys go ahead and do is this over here. As you can see, it says display mode. Now, obviously, a lot of people do intend to use a certain type of display mode when it comes to Modern Warfare 3, and a lot of low-end users would use the windowed version because it actually does increase performance. It really does. I had this experience myself by seeing my friends do this with their lower end machines, and they do experience more FPS and actually achieve more FPS, and it's surprising to see people do that and reach more FPS. Now, if you do have a mid-end machine to a higher end machine, I would highly recommend that you use either full screen borderless if you have multiple screens like me. I've got 3. Or you use full screen exclusive if you have one dedicated screen, like a monitor or a gaming display, or a display like a laptop display. Now, like I said, ladies and gentlemen, this is for all users out there. All right, let's jump to the next step. All right, so this is something that a lot of people do get wrong when it comes to Call of Duty, is the display gamma. A lot of people put this on 2.4 for, I don't know what reason. I'm guessing a lot of people watch like FPS boost guide videos in general, and they go with 2.4. Please do not use 2.4. 2.4 is for TVs. They are not meant for display units. So if you have a laptop display or a monitor or just a display in general, go with 2.2, not 2.4. The reason why I use 2.4 is because I have a TV and 2 dedicated monitors. This is basically how my setup looks, and this is how I run my games. All right, this is why I use 2.4. Now, something that's very, very important, I just want to point this out there as well, is the constant mouse to game window. If you put this on and you apply it, you cannot get off of your main screen. So if you have multiple screens and you just want to focus on this screen here while you're playing your game, you can go ahead and turn this on. Now, if you turn this completely off, then you apply it, you can just get off of your screens. It's quite easy to do. That is quite nice of a feature when it comes to Call of Duty. But if you have one screen, it doesn't matter if you put this on or off. You can't get off of the screen if you have one screen in anyways. Alright, so Nvidia Reflex Low Latency is something I highly recommend that you go ahead and read, like open your eyes and read what the fuck it says on the right hand side there. It literally tells you what it does. So off would be low latency mode is disabled. Now off I don't recommend. Obviously, for the love of fuck, I won't recommend to put this off. On it says low latency mode is enabled and optimizing system latency. Okay, it doesn't really tell you what this does, but when it says on plus boost, it says low latency mode is now enabled and optimizing system latency. Right, then it says GPU clock frequencies are kept at a high in CPU bound cases. Okay, so this is the reason why I have mine on plus boost, and this is the reason why I say to a lot of people that you should rather have this on plus boost than what you have it on. Okay, try it out. I do believe that on plus boost is the best for all types of machines, because a lot of people do run different types of machines. Ryzen CPUs with Nvidia graphics cards, Ryzen CPUs with AMD graphics cards, Intel CPUs with AMD graphics cards. It's a whole shit show. Everyone like has weird components in general, and yeah, everyone has a different type of machine, so it's going to depend on what you use. But I highly recommend that you put this on plus boost, and you'll get a benefit out of your game. And I highly recommend that you go ahead and put this on here at this very moment. All right, eco mode is something that a lot of people has left me in my comments down below, saying that they can't put this at custom, that it automatically goes back to this VSync gameplay. This is just basically if you are getting screen tearing in your game and stuff like that, and you feel like stuttering happening, or most case scenarios it is screen tearing. That is what VSync is meant for. If you are getting screen tearing and your game is doing stuff like that, where your screen is tearing and it's breaking apart and your game can't run correctly, I would highly recommend turning this on. I just put it at 100% and you should be good to go, to be honest with you. And it does tell you what you should put it on for what type of monitors. Literally just open your eyes and fucking read. That's all you need to do, just open your fucking eyes and read. All right, let's get over that. Now, menus is something just in general. I don't know why you would get screen tearing in the menus in the first place. I've never seen anyone getting screen tearings in the menu. But if you are one of those people, I don't know. We are so many people watching these videos and stuff like that. that. If you are one of those people, then obviously go ahead and put it on 100%, 50%, or at your own personal preference. Now, custom frame rate limit, I have mine on unlimited. Now, I do know there's a lot of people out there that feels that this is unsafe and that your graphics card will jump out of your PC case and it will run out your front door because you're overusing your GPU. If you are one of those people and you feel that you need to cap your FPS and whatever the case might be, then all you're going to need to do is go to custom over here, put this, obviously, gameplay at your own FPS. So let's say you've got a 120 hertz monitor. Do 120 over here. Let's say you got 144, you put it at 144. Let's say you got 240, you put it at 240, right? So let's just say that you want unlimited frames. Unlimited frames comes to 300. That's unlimited frames. It's the highest this value can go to. And then obviously here it says menu custom frame rate, right? So this is in the menus. So what you can do here, if you want to, you can put this at 60 like this and apply it. Just press enter. And then autofocus, you put this at 30% like this and leave it like this. This is if you are one of those people that you feel that your GPU is doing too much, right? And you feel that your GPU is just going to blow up because you're putting everything on unlimited or whatever the case might be. I put mine like this, right? And I apply it. Or I leave them on unlimited and I leave it like this. And the reason why I leave it like this is because my GPU is not going to climb out the box and run away and say like, oh my god, you are killing me. That is not a thing. Unfortunately, newer GPUs in general, even old GPUs in general, has a safety feature where if it uses too much resources, it will automatically slow itself down. Okay? We are in 2024 almost, so trust me, GPUs know what they're doing, especially when you overclock them or if you undervolt them. There's so much shit you can do to a GPU. Don't worry, when you put this on unlimited, your machine won't break. All right. Focus mode is something I just want to mention is if you have multiple screens and you put this at 100% and you apply it, your screens that you have, your extra screens, not your main screen where your game's on, your extra screens will go completely black. Okay, that means so that you can focus on just Call of Duty while you are playing it, so your other screens don't bother you. Okay, if it bothers you, you can use this feature. It's a nice feature, but I leave mine at 0 because I monetize my YouTube on the left hand side and I monetize my Discord on the right hand side. So this is why I have mine at 0. It's your own personal preference. All right, let's jump over to the quality tab. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, as you can see, we are in the quality tab right now. And yes, ladies and gentlemen, if you are a subscriber of mine, you do know that I use Intel's upscaling in general. This is how I run my game with ultra quality. And I know a lot of people will say like, yo, dude, why do you even use that upscaling? Like, why is that a thing? Why do you use that upscaling? Okay, the reason why I use this upscaling and at ultra quality, and then I obviously have this off over here and 90% on the VRAM scale, is because of my specific rig that I'm running. I'm running a 9700K. It is overclocked with a water cooling loop, an RTX 2060 OC overclocked as well, 16 gigs of HyperX Fury Samsung B diagrams with shortened timings. This runs very well on my machine. Now, I'm not going to lie, there is other ones that run even better on my machine, but they don't look as good as this, okay? Now, with your machine, it might not be the same. If you go ahead and put this on like this, on your specific rig, you're running a different CPU, different RAM, different GPU, and you use this upscaling, and it doesn't look good, then don't expect to be like, oh no, he lied. He lied when he said that we should use this. Don't use this if this looks shit for you. Please, just don't get me wrong about the setting. This is for me, okay? My own personal preference. Now, this is what I want to do. A lot of people use Nvidia DLSS. If you are a Nvidia DLSS user and you got something like an RTX graphics card, then you can use Nvidia DLSS. But I highly recommend that you use it at either balance or performance. Just do not put this at ultra performance. You're going to tear out your own fucking eyes of how bad it is. Now, something about Nvidia DLSS is this. When you... Why am I getting an invite from my brother? What the fuck? Anyways, so while you are playing Call of Duty with Nvidia DLSS, Nvidia DLSS has this thing where it blurs on the right and left hand side of your screen once you move. Now, obviously, you're not going to stand dead fucking still while playing this game. So, please, when you do use Nvidia DLSS, either go with, if you can, if your graphics card can handle it, go with quality. The game looks fantastic. You have this at 80%. Or your own personal preference for your sharpness. I can't tell you what to do here. But if you can go with quality, go with quality. If you can't go with quality and you see your machine is dipping in FPS, go with balanced. You can go with performance, just do not, I repeat, do not, for the love of fuck, use ultra performance. You are going to throw bleach in your own fucking eyes. Please don't do that, right? VRAM scale, still 90% when it comes to NVIDIA DLSS. Some people do downscale this to about like 85, like this, or they put it at 80, like that, and they apply these settings, okay? That's for NVIDIA DLSS users. Now, NVIDIA DLAA is something where I just feel I want to, because it's absolute dog shit. I don't use this upscaling, never have, never will. It's a shit upscaling. Now, NVIDIA image scaling is something that I would recommend to a lot of people. Is you use NVIDIA image scaling, you go to ultra quality 5 over here, and you put this either at from 75 upwards. So if your GPU can run it at 75 perfectly fine and the game looks good, go for it. But at 90%, it makes the game look even better, and it makes the game look like a AAA title game, right? This is how I would recommend you use NVIDIA image scaling. Now, let's go to this, and we go to AMD FSR 1.0. If you are a low-end user to a medium-end user, you in between, I highly recommend using AMD FSR. Now, something I want to mention is this. If you have an Nvidia graphics card, you can still use AMD FSR. Just because it says AMD, it does not mean you need an AMD graphics card to use this upscaling, okay? So you can use this upscaling with an Nvidia card. It doesn't matter what Nvidia card you are running. You go with AMD FSR over here, and you go with quality. If your GPU is capable of handling it, and you have more than 6 gigs of VRAM, and it's a newer generation graphics card, go with ultra quality. The game looks absolutely fantastic, but this you are going to drop. You do not need to eat that much VRAM in general, so you can go to 65 over here and leave it like this, or 75 would also be a great option, like this, right? With AMD FSR 1.0. But if your machine can't handle ultra quality, just run it at quality, and that should be fine for you. Right, same thing happens for AMD FSR 2.1. You're going to come here and have this either at ultra quality, if your machine can handle it, your GPU can handle it, or you go to quality. Have this again at either 65 or 75%. Now, last one. Fidelity FX Cache. A lot of people still use Fidelity FX Cache to this day to get a sharp gameplay experience. So the game looks really sharp. It's very easy to see your enemies and stuff like that. And a lot of people do use this upscaling. If you are using this upscaling right now, I highly recommend that you play around with the strength of this. But for me, my sweet spot with my specific rig, it's 60% when I use Fidelity FX Cache. Then I play around with this. This one over here, I really do. So I would either play this at 65 and then play my game, see how it goes, see how it looks, see how it runs. If it runs really well, I would then start changing this up to like 75 and leave it like this. And then if I see I can, I can run this perfectly fine. I go all the way to 90 and I leave it like this, and the game doesn't change and the game still looks good, it feels good, it runs good. Then I leave this at 90% and then have this off. Please have this off when you're running Fidelity FX Cache. Right, now, something I want to go over is these over here, and it plays the most important role in the game as well, is the settings that you're using for this game, and that is also why you are losing frames. Alright, let's go over those. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, so this over here where it says detail and textures. Now, when it comes to AMD FSR 1.0 and 2.1, I would recommend that you either put this at normal or you put it at low. Right? If your machine can handle normal, run it at normal. If your machine can't handle normal, put it at low, and your game will look exactly the same as normal when you put it on low. There's not much visual difference. Trust me, I've tested this out multiple times, and it is actually a thing. So just put it at normal, or if your machine can't handle it, put it at low, and your game will still run perfectly fine and also look perfectly fine, right? Test the filter anisotropic at low. You do not need this. Depth of field, I don't know who plays with this on, but yet again, I'm not gonna, fuss about it and puke about it and whatever and be like, this is a shit setting, because for me that is a setting, this over here. But everyone has their own personal preference. A lot of people's gonna play with this on or off. It doesn't matter. I can't tell you what to do, right? So this is your own personal preference. But if you a OG Call of Duty player, you should know that depth of field is a bunch of dog shit, and you should be turning it off in a multiplayer game. Right, detail quality level is just something I just want to explain right now at this very moment with the new updates and the new patch notes. You can change this from low to normal right now, and it doesn't matter what machine you are running. Even if you are using AMD FSR, put this at normal. It actually makes the game look a little bit better, and it doesn't affect your VRAM. It doesn't affect your frames either. So put this at normal. Take advantage of this option. Right, particle resolution very low. You do not need to see this. Just put it at very low. Bullet impacts, put it on, leave it on, doesn't impact nothing on your machine, nothing on your components, put it on. This one over here, the effects, you do not need to see the effects in this fucking game. Obviously, turn it the fuck off. Shader quality, a lot of people have asked me questions about this, but I'm just going to reply with leave it at low. That's it. On-demand texture streaming is a video on its own, and I'm not going to explain why you should put this on and why you should put it off. Number one, just leave it off and don't fucking touch it, or you can read with your eyeballs on the right-hand side what the fuck this actually does, right? Local texture streaming quality, this is something I just want to explain as well. If you got a decent enough machine to run Modern Warfare 3 and you're doing, I don't know, 180, 200 FPS and more than that, then you can go ahead and put this at normal and your game looks even better than what it already does. So I'm going to put mine at normal now as well, because I do decent frames while I'm playing the game. Alright, now this is also where your FPS gets hogged and gets taken away, is these settings here. Now, when it comes to shadow quality, you're going to put this at low, screen space shadows at low, ambient occlusion off, always off, leave it the fuck off, and done. Screen space reflections, exact same answer as this one over here, off, always off, leave it the fuck off, and done. This one over here, reflection quality, you really do not need to see the reflections in this game. You really don't have to. If this was a single player mode or whatever the case might be, I would have told you to put everything on ultra and run the game perfectly fine. But it's a multiplayer game, turn it to low. If there was an off option, I would have put it off, but obviously there is no option like that, so put it at low. Tessellation, off, always off, don't put this higher, leave it where it is. It has a GPU and VRAM impact, so your GPU gets impacted a lot. It takes a tank in FPS if you put this on near or on all. So just leave it on off and your game looks exactly the same. If you had to change this to near to all, just leave it at off. Volumetric quality low, physics quality low. You do not need to see the physics in this game. You do not need to see the weather grid volumes in this game, and you do not need to see the water quality in this game either. All of these off, for the love of fuck. Turn it the fuck off. You're going to apply these settings. Once these settings are applied, you're going to come to the view tab. The view tab is your own personal preference. Literally, it's your own personal preference. But one thing I'm going to mention is this one over here. Inverted flash. Please take advantage of this. You do not want your room to go completely white every time you get flashbanged, especially if you're playing this game at night. Your whole room goes white and you can actually, I don't know, see the pearly gates every time you get flashbanged. So just turn this on, because then your screen will go black instead of going white. Now, something I want to go over is this over here. All right, so color customization is something very, very important, and I just want to explain this to people out there, right? So you're going to have you at your own color. Your team and your party should always be the exact same color. Your enemy is your own personal preference. I have mine as magenta pink. You can either copy this code by typing it in yourself and just apply this color, and you'll have the exact same color as enemies as me. Magenta pink, you don't see it in this game. Nothing is much magenta pink in this game in general, so... But yet again, it's your own personal preference. Scroll all the way down to where you see it says color filter. Put this at filter 2, put this at both 100% and 100%. Now, before we apply all of these settings, before we jump into getting anywhere right now, can my brother leave me the fuck alone? I'm trying to work. Right, ladies and gentlemen, once you applied all of these settings over here with the color customization and everything to do with the color in the game, you are going to press escape, and then you're going to come and do this. You're going to do this. You're going to come to the settings, come to display, and come to restart shader preloading. Now, what this will do is it will restart your shaders for you, and it will apply the settings you just changed now to your game to take effect. Now, when you click on this and you say restart, you physically need to restart your entire game. So if you're playing this on Battle.net or on Steam, just quit out of the game and then relaunch the game through Steam or Battle.net. But before you do that, please go ahead and do this. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, so this plays a very big role with the color settings that I just showed you now in game. Now, before, when you restart the game, right? So you applied everything and you quit out the game. Now, you have not restarted the game yet. Okay, cool. You haven't restarted it yet, but before you restart the game, do this, please. Make sure that you are on the latest graphics card drivers for Nvidia and AMD. So if you're an Nvidia user or an AMD user, make sure that you're on the latest driver. Now, right now, this very moment, as I'm recording this video, it is 546.33. Now, if a new driver gets released and you watch my video in the next week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks from now, and there's a new GPU driver update, please go ahead and update it. Don't leave me a comment saying, yo, dude, there's a new driver. Should I download it? Yes, go ahead and download it. Obviously, stay on the latest driver when it comes to Nvidia or AMD. Now, ladies and gentlemen, let's jump into something where it comes to the color of this game that you can do in the window settings. Right, ladies and gentlemen, so once you're on your desktop, you're going to do this. If you are an Nvidia user like me, you're going to right click on your desktop and open up an Nvidia control panel, or you can just go to the search button over here and type in the Nvidia control panel and then open it up. Now you're going to open up an Nvidia control panel like this and take advantage of these over here. You're going to go to adjust desktop color settings, and you're going to come inside here. Now, as you can see, I have 3 screens. This is my main screen where I play my game on, and then this is what we're going to need to do. 50% on the brightness, 65% on the contrast, gamma at 1.00, digital vibrance at 95. Now, this is going to be your own personal preference. Mine's 95 as my own personal preference. You can put yours at 85 or 75 or 65. Don't go lower than that. Lower than that is its default settings, which is 50. 50 makes the game look washed out, makes your windows look washed out, and no one wants that. Now, using this, the digital vibrance, and scaling it upwards or down or wherever you want it to be, will actually benefit you in the long run for all your games, not just Modern Warfare. And then you also don't need to use Nvidia filters that actually impacts your FPS in the game. Rather use this. Now, once you're done with this, you're just going to apply it, and then you're going to come to this over here. Adjust image settings with preview. Make sure that this is on use the advanced 3D image settings, and then click on take me there, which is basically just going to take you to manage 3D settings, and it's going to take you inside here. Now, all I highly recommend that you go ahead and do is this. Now, when you update your GPU drivers, when you update them, a lot of these things intend to change without you noticing it. Right? So you do an update on your GPU, and then all of a sudden you're like, why am I doing less frames right now? Why is this on? Why is this happening? Why is this happening? Why is this happening? As you can see right now at this very moment, my things aren't the way it should be. Like number one, this one should be on prefer system fallback. Low latency mode should, for me, be on because I have on and ultra. If you only have the ultra option, select ultra. Go on over here. Off, application controlled, off, on, application controlled, off, all. You're going to click on this one over here and make sure that your GPU is selected. You say, okay. You scroll down. You're going to come to this over here where it says OpenGL GDI compatibility. When you click on this, it will say auto, but you want to say prefer performance, right? Then you're going to go down and you're going to come to OpenGL rendering. Do not let it say auto select. Now, yet again, ladies and gentlemen, like I said, when you do a GPU driver update and you go play your game and you're like, what the fuck? Why am I doing less FPS right now? It's because all of these things went to their defaults. You don't want it to be on its defaults anymore, right? So you need to come in here and come change it. Trust me. You're going to come here where it says OpenGL rendering GPU and select your dedicated graphics card. Don't let it say auto select. Now, where it says power management mode, don't say optimal power. You are going to go to prefer maximum performance. You're going to leave it like this. And then here where it says shader cache, now mine is saying default driver, which is wrong. It makes my game run worse. You want it to be on 100 gigs on the shader cache. Okay, now off allow quality over here. A lot of people do prefer performance over here, so I would go with high performance as well, so I can get more performance out of my game. Right? Now, these over here in general, where it says threaded optimization, auto, you can leave this on auto, but I would recommend that you go ahead and turn it on right now at this very moment so you can take advantage of this. All right? This one over here, I don't really recommend putting it on. I leave mine on off, and I actually get a benefit out of my game. And this is how I run my managed 3D settings. You can just copy all of these settings as is, make sure that they are exactly the same, and you should be good to go. Right, ladies and gentlemen, you're going to apply these settings and your screen might flash a couple of times. Don't worry about it. It's just applying the settings for you. Now, once you are done with this and this is as finished, you're going to close out of this and then you're going to launch your game. Let the shaders at the top left corner install and then do something. I don't know, go make some coffee, take a piss, whatever you want to go do. Just do something while those shaders install. As always, ladies and gentlemen, I hope this video helped you out. And if it did, smash that motherfucking like button, leave a comment down below, subscribe to my YouTube channel if you're new here, become a member on my YouTube channel if you would like to support my YouTube. And as always, ladies and gentlemen, I'm just here to help the Call of Duty community as best as I can, as best as I can. As always, peace